What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 68 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome.
And I'm Dev.
Dev, what a fucking weekend.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun. We are going to be recapping the Xbox Showcase. We're going to be talking about that, giving our thoughts and all the games that we saw there, Summer Games Fest, and the Ubisoft Forward that happened today. Just to kind of get back into it, and it's just like, what a showcase.
Yeah.
I'm like specifically talking about Xbox.
Okay.
We're gonna give.
I've enjoyed all three showcases. If I'm like in different ways, I've enjoyed all three. It's just been a fun weekend.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about Summer Games Fest and Ubisoft Forward as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk about Xbox, admittedly. But before we get into Xbox, again, this is the Game Room Podcast. Each and every week we sit down, we talk about the news and video games to get you set for the next week. Make sure you're all caught up to speed and everything like that. So, we're going to start with the Summer Games Fest recap because it happened before the Xbox Showcase, so we're going to go in order of the weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get right into the Summer Games Fest. Just kind of run through kind of the list of everything. So, first up that was announced at Summer Games Fest was Lego Horizon Adventures, which was, we had talked about last week. We knew it was coming. We knew it was a thing. What did you think of it?
It's one of those games where I was like, I don't know who it's for. Like, I don't know if it's for big Lego fans or for big Horizon fans. It's
both.
It's
for both.
Yeah, it's a very weird franchise because I guess it's still so young and new. But the game itself looked not bad. It looked good.
Right.
I think if you like Lego games, if you like Horizon, I don't see why not, you know?
What's up to Forrest in the chat?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Forrest. Thanks for hanging out yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I think this game looks good. I think it's solid. But, I mean, I can't help but, like, my one talking point about this game is I think it's insane that this game is coming out on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
It's a first-party PlayStation IP that has exclusively been on PlayStation. I mean, obviously PC as well, but in terms of console space, like, this game coming to Switch is really kind of, like, I was not expecting that. Like, we knew this game was getting announced at Summer Games Fest. We did not know, at least I didn't see that this game was going to be coming to Switch.
That's a W for, I think, Switch players. Like,
yeah, for Nintendo, absolutely, I think it is. I mean, look, this could be them testing the waters of that. Like, we've been talking about Xbox and the multi-platform strategy and whether it's going to work or not work. Like, we don't know, to be honest. But, I mean, this could be something for PlayStation. They probably look at it as very risk-averse, where it's like, hey, like, we're just putting this game on Switch because it's a Lego game. You know what I mean? But it's like...
But it also, like you said, it gets their franchise out there. If anyone's trying to get into the PlayStation ecosystem, you know, this is a start. Let's give them a little bit of this game.
Yeah.
It fits... watching this trailer, it fits Lego perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, giant robot dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Translates well to Lego.
Yeah, I think the game looks fun. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be picking it up at launch, at least. I did think it was. I thought it was funny that the game's not coming to Xbox. Like,
I mean,
it makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it almost makes more. It makes sense that it's coming to. It makes more sense that it's coming to Switch than it would if it came to Xbox. Is what I mean. You know what I mean?
I think Forrest is saying, "Want to know what I learned about the Xbox Showcase LMFAO?" I would love to hear it. Can't wait. But no, so I think Lego Horizon Adventures looks really good. I think it was one of the better games shown at the showcase for Summer Games Fest. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Good for them. Next up, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions was confirmed to be a PlayStation Plus Day 1 title. It's Harry Potter. It's Quidditch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing more. You can
Yeah,
say about it.
look, if you're a Harry Potter fan and you
I
want to
don't-
play Quidditch, I think there was a GameCube game that was
I was
like
about to
Harry
ask.
Potter Quidditch.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was a GameCube game. I don't have it, but I know I've seen it in the
I won't underestimate this game because of the success of
Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. Like,
What would be funny if like there's like a season mode, you choose like it's just like Madden but like Quidditch.
yeah, that would be actually pretty cool.
Where it's like you pick your house and then like, oh, all right, here's your season.
Yeah.
Week 1, you're facing those damn Slytherins. But no, it was cool.
Yeah.
Civilization 7 was announced. I've never really been into the Civilization franchise, but
It's a big franchise.
it is a very big franchise. So, you know. Terry and Mai from Fatal Fury are coming to Street Fighter 6. That's a nice little crossover. I mean,
Yeah.
Terry and Ken are they're very similar looking characters, so it's funny when they first showed Street Fighter 6, I was like, oh no, when I first saw Terry, I thought it was Ken. And I was like, oh, it's Street Fighter. And then it was Street Fighter, but it was Terry, and I was like, oh, oops.
And yeah, I think he's also getting his own game too. I think that's in there.
Yeah, I think they also did like a flip of it where it's like Fatal Fury is getting a game too. So
I didn't know Fatal Fury was as big. Like coming in to Switch and to Ultimate, Terry came there, and now he's in this game. So
yeah,
maybe it's a franchise that people love.
M Bison 2 says Forrest. Yeah, and Bison's also going to be going in the game. We got to see a game that I think I was very excited for. You especially having a MetaQuest 3, I would love for you to buy this game so we can play it. Batman Arkham Shadow.
Yeah.
Fall 2024 release. It was funny because last week we talked about like how PSVR 2, like Sony's done a terrible job in my opinion of selling me on it, and you were like, well, what do you like? All this is what VR games look like. Like I'm not sure what you're looking for, and it's like I'm looking for experiences like that when I look at VR. Like yes, I want there to be some shooters where like and like first person. Well, it's VR, so most of them are first person. But like I don't mind there being games that we see at those kind of PlayStation showcases. But I think it's kind of unacceptable for PlayStation to go this long and not have something like a Batman Arkham Shadow to be like, hey, this is why you need our VR headset. This is an experience that you can't get anywhere else. And MetaQuest 3 just kind of dominating the VR market. I mean, at least from my perspective. Maybe you disagree. I mean, I don't know. You're much more in tune with that market than I am. But when I look at the VR marketplace, and I'm just like, why would you not get a MetaQuest 3? Like, I can't... From the outside looking in, it's just like, this game looks really fucking dope. And it's like, I don't have $500 for a headset right now. But if I had to... If someone was like, hey, here, go buy a VR headset. Like, I am buying a MetaQuest 3 right away. Because I want to play games like Batman Arkham Shadow. So...
I get it.
Yeah. Will you be picking it up regardless, or
Probably.
Yeah, because it's only on MetaQuest 3. So. We got a brief trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, which we'll talk about later at Ubisoft Forward showcase. Atlas showed off Metaphor Fantasio trailer. Game looks really good. Coming from the creators of Persona, I definitely want to dive into this year. Hopefully, it makes the cut in like what I buy and what I don't buy this year. I don't know. But it does look really good. Digital Eclipse is making a new Power Rangers beat 'em up. I thought that the vibes... It was funny because I was watching the showcase, and at first they start the trailer for the Power Rangers game.
Yeah.
And like at first I was like, oh, this art is hideous. And then it got to like, because it was showing like the actual just the Rangers like doing it's morphin' time.
Like a cartoon kind
of. And I was like, this doesn't look good. And then it gets to the actual gameplay, and I'm like, oh, okay, actually, it does. Yeah, it's not too bad.
It looks really good.
What's up to Ty? Ty says, any company making a PSVR game is taking a weird L. PlayStation isn't even supporting their own console. Yeah, it's baffling to me. I just don't understand why they bother with these peripherals and hardware outside of their main console, because they just don't support any of it. Oh yeah, but see, this is the B-roll. I'm looking at that specifically where they're like with the morphers, and I'm just like, it doesn't look good. But yeah, the Power Rangers game
This
looks
would be
good.
a fun party game. Like
yeah, I'm not a huge like beat 'em up 2D beat 'em up guy, but like I mean for that I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks like it's got like an original story, which is really cool.
They also have like other game modes. It looks like
I liked the perspective shift where that's like a first person kind of thing. I thought that looked really neat.
Yeah.
So like they're definitely doing some stuff with this game. So like it's not my cup of tea. It's not for me, but like for the genre, I think this is a pretty dope game. After that, horror film production company Blumhouse marked its arrival with 6 game announcements and that it is starting its own games label. I thought that the games that Blumhouse showed off, all of them enticed me.
Yeah.
I thought they all looked really interesting. And something about Summer Games Fest that, like, I know you liked how indie it is, and we'll probably talk about that.
Yeah.
But something I thought was really cool was kind of seeing these small publishers appear here between like some Bloomhouse and then later on we get from Inner Sloth, like, which we'll talk about. But I thought that this was a really neat idea for them to be like, hey, we make great horror movies. Five Nights at Freddy's was a big hit for us. There's clearly an audience there to dive into gaming.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it was just FNAF. Like they Five Nights at Freddy's, they put the movie out. It was like a huge hit for them, and they're like,
Man, these small horror games, like,
man, these
people
small
love
horror
them.
games, people really want to buy them. They
Yeah.
sell really well. And then you know what they can do? Like 5 years from now, they can make a movie out of based off their games. It's just like double dip,
they're-
you know?
They're investing in their own future.
Yeah, which is
Horror
smart.
movies.
You know what? It's smart. It really is smart. Because like you said, indie games are important. It's good to have a platform for them, so like it makes sense.
Especially like small, like these are all we would have never seen these games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Forrest says for Power Rangers they should have used the Boom Comics art. I agree. I do think the art is still a little spotty for that game. But yeah, the Bloomhouse stuff looks really good. I'm actually really intrigued. I'll probably be following along with to learn more about those games in the future. Because I think, again, for me, like I like atmospheric, like creepy games and stuff like that. And like I think that like I'm definitely interested. For me, the big announcement, Devro, we won. We won. You said that I was wrong, and it was never going to happen. You've been proven wrong once again. Alan Wake 2 is getting a physical release this fall, and they also showed off the Night Springs DLC. Folks, this is what we call standing by your principles, standing up for what you believe is right, and triumphing. This was a great day. Great announcement. I was very excited for this. Very happy. Physical forever. And I'm going to be buying Alan Wake 2 this year. You know, I told them I'd buy it. Like, hey, you put out a physical copy, I will buy your game.
Yeah.
Yep. But on the flip side, and serious note, the expansion looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it looks really good. So I actually, like, jokes aside, like, I feel like I'm getting into it at, like, a really good time. Because, like, I'm going to go play Alan Wake 2, and then it's, like, this awesome expansion is just going to be there ready.
It's based off Night Springs. You get 3 different stories.
Yep.
I think one of them is with
One of them is with Control's main character. His
Yeah.
name's escape. I'm blanking right now for some reason.
another is in like, I guess it's the setting is the first game, but you play as like a woman who's obsessed.
A diner waitress
Who's
from
obsessed
Night
with
Springs, which I remember that diner from the first game.
I wonder if she's in it. I don't remember.
She might be, I don't know, but like that looked really good. And then of course they have like a really like on the nose like actor one with like Sam Lake of Remedy being like the director.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so great. I love all of this. So I'm gonna be diving into Alan Wake 2 this year. I'm very excited. All jokes aside about the physical, I'm very happy they're doing a physical release. I mean, it was in my Xbox wish list. I probably would have bought it eventually. All jokes aside, but like
now
I'm
you
just,
get a physical copy.
no. Now I'm just like now I'm buying this. This is something that has become
You should play
a
this.
must-buy item for me.
Yeah, when you get it, you should play this like soon.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, again, I've been really good with my backlog these days. I'm like playing new games as soon as they come out. But the problem is that now I'm neglecting old games in the backlog. So like, if I bought a new game in like 2019, it's just like, you gonna play me?
Yeah.
It's like 2022 on. I'm doing great. I'm playing all the new games I buy. I'm on it, but like not the older games.
Yeah.
Not my old new games. The new games getting played. But yeah, so let's see. What else? StarCraft 2 dev David Kim's RTS Hybrid Battle Aces. He touts this as an RTS that gets rid of all the bad parts of RTS. He's like, there's no clicking. And then there was something else. Let me click along. I gotta see what else I just clicked. So I'm not gonna be good at this game. I'm trying to see. There was 2 things that they said they took away to make it better. They said it's an RTS for everyone. Speaking on stage, he said that the closed beta is coming soon. Oh, he didn't, okay. This article doesn't say, but I know they said they were getting rid of like complicated clicking, and then there was another like staple of RTSs that they're like, we're getting rid of that too. And I'm like, I don't know how this RTS is gonna work, but okay.
Yeah, I gotta see how it works. Maybe it works out.
Forrest says backlog if he places, backlogged if he doesn't. No clicking. I hope the mic caught that.
I think it did.
Okay, good. We saw Sonic X Shadow Generations get an official release with PlayStation exclusive content. Looked cool. I'm not a Sonic guy, but like I thought the game itself looked cool. So yeah. Monster Hunter Wild got its second story trailer. Again, another game that just I've never been able to get into Monster Hunter. Just doesn't click for me.
I think that was Forrest's game.
Yeah, Forrest, what did you think of Monster Hunter Wilds when you watched Summer Games Fest? And while he answers, Forrest said the build resources are no longer needed because I was clicking. While he's answering, Valorant's coming to consoles. I thought that was a really big get for both consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, again, in a future where we talk about like these games that are staying popular and staying relevant, you know, I think if you're Xbox and PlayStation, if they're not on your platform, you want to get them on your platform. So I think getting Valorant is really big for both of them.
Yeah, big for the game as well. You know.
Oh, for sure, they're gonna get a nice little influx of players. Mm-hmm. I mean, I might try it out. I've never played Valorant, so you know, we'll see. New World, Eternum. Brings Amazon Games MMO to console. This is another one that was originally announced just for PC, and it's making its way to console. So, again, if you're Xbox and PlayStation, you want these games on your platform. Mm-hmm. Black Myth Wukong has been delayed for Xbox Series consoles. Did they say that Summer Games Fest? Well, they showed it off, but I guess the Xbox version has been delayed.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Probably the Series S.
Probably, yeah. Forrest says, "Wild looks pretty. It's basically Monster Hunter World 2, basically." Okay. Power World is adding a new island, a PvP arena mode, and more this month. The Nintendo Ninjas not happy at a PvP arena.
I was actually, while I was watching it, I was trying to figure out which Pokemon are being copied this time. Mm-hmm. They showed new pals. And
do you want to play Who's That Pokemon?
Yeah, let's...
Who's That Pokemon? Da-na-na.
Let's see.
Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we got?
Let's see.
Is that Fen?
Yeah, that basically looks like that.
Oh, that's the...
That's like Dusclops. Yeah. That's like Dusclops, but like... It's like, but it's also like Chandelure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, Chandelure. That's the one from Violet.
Yeah. Mungus. They can't keep getting away with this. To be fair, these new pals are much less offensive in terms of like rip-offs of Pokemon. So? Oh, the newer ones, absolutely. So. The OG pals are like not like it's so clear.
Some of these are so accurate though. Like
they're close. Like I'll give them credit. I think that they probably were like, we need to tweak some of these to not look like the Pokemon. The Pokemon.
Probably.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Skate is coming to console with playtesting this fall.
That was a cool trailer.
Getting that guy.
Yeah, and I hope Skate is like approachable for new players into like that skating game because it just looks like a really good game.
Yeah, I agree. And then there was also Day of the Devs and Devolver Direct. Admittedly, I did not get to catch those. I've been very busy this week. It was a really packed week for me outside of video games, so I did not get to catch those showcases yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully this week I'll have some time. Actually, I know I'm not going to have time this week. Maybe next week I'll have some time. So that was it for the Summer Games Fest.
That list isn't very complete. You forgot.
Isn't it?
Yeah, you forgot Killer Bean, first of all.
Oh, Killer Bean.
Slitterhead. I think that was a big...
Wow, why...
I don't know why I didn't have those games.
Well, the VGC... The link I used was VGC, and they said, like, this is everything that was announced. So I don't know why... You are correct. No, yeah, I am missing stuff.
It's just that list you have, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, Slitterhead... so Slitterhead, I don't understand... I watched the trailer, and my immediate thought was, like, that's great. I still don't understand what this game is.
Yeah.
You're kind of like jumping from person to person, possessing them, but like are you the good guy? Are you the bad guy? You got to be the bad guy, but like,
That's
are
what
you
it's-
fighting other bad guys?
Yeah.
Like, I need to see more before I have like a final verdict on like how I feel about it. I came out of that trailer just like, I don't know, and I think it comes out this year, so that doesn't bode well because that means we're probably not going to get much more than that. So I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it'll come to Game Pass or something. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Bean.
I know you hated that.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, when I watch this trailer, what I see is I see a game that is like in a TV show about someone playing a game. Like, it doesn't look like a real game, and it's not a compliment for me. Like, I just looked at this and I'm just like, this looks bland and silly not in a good way. Like, it did nothing for me at all.
To me, it looks silly in a good way. Like, in the same vein as Goose Game, which is another game you hate. I don't know why you hate artistic, goofy games.
But I definitely don't mind artistic, goofy games. I just don't.
You just hate two of them.
Just two of them. Name another one. You won't be able to.
I can't think of another game.
Exactly.
Game.
Exactly.
But if I thought of it, you would hate it.
Nah, that's not true. That's just not true. It's a lie.
Okay.
You just don't have any evidence. Now you're trying to be like.
What do you mean? I just named you two games that you hate that are artistic and goofy. And
yeah, I said
like
name
games.
one more. I name one more. You were like, I can't.
It's like I hate those two, but
there's nothing wrong with hating two games specifically.
if I could think of another one, you would probably hate it.
I'm sure you would.
They also don't have Cuff Bust on the list that you have.
Cuff Bust, right? Yeah, that game looked pretty cool. See, that's a goofy game that I thought looked good.
Okay.
I would want to see more though. I don't know how scripted this is. I would want to see like how a game of it actually plays out, and like how much replayability the game has. Like, I think those would be my two concerns.
The replayability is I get.
Yeah, like how many maps is this launching with? Like, do you have to? Like, I don't know. You'll have to see. It was made up by a team of writers. It's fiction. False. We made it up. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued by Cuff Busts. So it was good.
What else?
Unfortunately, my
Force,
list is not complete. Delta Force.
That was a Hawk Ops shooting game. Dragon Ball Z World.
Okay, yeah, very into that. I might pick that up. That was really good as well.
Deer and Boy. Didn't look that bad.
So it looked good at first. It kind of lost me halfway through, but I mean, I was intrigued in the first half.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Man, that list that VGC put up was very incomplete.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So many
I stopped looking because they said here the VGC thing says here's everything announced at the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
Oops. I promise for the Xbox and Ubisoft I've got better sources.
Okay. Yeah, Kingdom Come that's a series you're interested in. You just haven't played, right?
Yeah, the first one. See, remember I said earlier there's like new games I bought in like 2019, like it's hard now because like they're just in the backlog, but I'm keeping up with current releases.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game that's in my backlog that I purchased at launch and have yet to play it.
One of the games that I'm going to put it up now, Wonder Stop, which is a game I was not interested in the entirety of them showing it.
Mm-hmm.
Until the very end, where she's trying to convince herself that she enjoys the life that she's living, and she has like this mental breakdown.
Yeah.
So and then I found out it's also these are the people who made the Stanley Parable. So
yeah, which means that there's probably a good twist to it.
Yeah, on the outside it probably looks like a farming simulator, which probably is most of the game, but I'm sure it changes at some point.
Yeah.
So that game I'm kind of interested in seeing more of.
Yeah, that game looked really good as well. Was there anything else for Summer Games Fest?
The first Descendant.
Yeah, not a fan of looter shooters. I thought it was a good trailer, good showing.
I'm just
not a looter shooter guy.
Yeah, I am. So that game looked really interesting to me. The trailer itself just looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Dune Awakening.
Not a Dune fan. Never really watched the movies. Don't really have much.
The Final.
Right, they're going to feudal Japan for their season. Right.
Battle Aces. I think we talked about.
We talked about Battle Aces.
New World Atrium.
We talked about that.
Let's see. Dark and Darker.
I don't even remember seeing that period. What was that?
It's like a medieval. Maybe that was for.
That might have been like Devolver.
Yeah, that's something else. That might be it.
Okay.
Phantom Blade Zero.
The Mask game.
Oh yeah.
The Forest was talking about yesterday.
That
yeah.
Mask game. I don't even see it. Kunsugami, which is another game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was quite a lot of games.
I mean, yeah, it was a good show. It was a good showcase. I kind of left it feeling a little underwhelmed, admittedly. I mean, with the showcases, the way I always look at showcases, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, I'm always going to look at it from the perspective of I'm looking for a complete showcase in terms of I want like some really good surprises. I want to see games I've never heard of, and I don't mind if like they're not big IPs or anything like that, but I do want some like hype like surprises. And I left Summer Games Fest outside of the physical copy release of Alan Wake 2 and its expansion. There was no like hype moments for me. And like I don't think it's fair or right to say that like I'm hyped for Alan Wake 2's physical release where it's like, well, that game came out in October. So it's not that it's not that like the game was shown off at SGF. So I don't know. For me, I kind of left it as like it's a fine showcase. I mean, it showed good games, and that at the end of the day, that's what's most important.
Yeah.
If I had to give it an out of 10 score, it's like a 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, it's a good showcase. There's nothing like like inherently wrong with it. It's just I kind of like at the end of it, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to see anything groundbreaking or mind-boggling. It's Summer Games Fest. My expectations for Summer Games Fest is not high at all.
Yeah, I mean it's understandable, and I definitely went into it with I feel like honestly lower expectations. But I mean, again, gotta look at these showcases, and I look at them all the same. It's like I want like the whole point
I
is
definitely don't look at them all
the whole point is you need to get hyped for video games. Like how hyped at the end of the day, the question is how hyped was I for games after this showcase? And I'm like, I mean, there are some games on here that I would definitely play, and they look good. But like hype, like I wouldn't say hype.
I don't know. I liked not every game I saw. I liked a lot of the stuff they showed. Even if I'm never gonna play it, I just liked it. I thought that was pretty
Sure.
cool.
Yeah. Again, like there were good games. I'm not saying it's like a 2 out of 10 or anything like that, but like it's a 6. It was fine, enjoyable. I sat down, I watched it. I was like, okay, cool. But like nothing like I wasn't like hyped for anything outside of Alan Wake 2. Very hyped for Alan Wake 2 though. Just to reiterate though. All right, let's talk about the Xbox showcase, which I mean the main event of the weekend. Even though Ubisoft happened afterwards, in my opinion. So, do you want to go through everything first, or we want to like kind of like talk about the presentation, like the whole showcase in general? Like, how do you want to? You want to just dive right into the games?
Yeah.
Okay. Ty says he wouldn't compare the showcase. He thinks Summer Games Fest by default will always be okay. Xbox, PlayStation will always keep to themselves. Same for Nintendo. I'm not saying that's not the case, but like they could, if Jeff Keighley wanted to, he could probably talk to some third-party publishers, get like an EA trailer or like I'm not saying they were going to show GTA 6 anytime soon, but like talk to Rockstar, like, hey, can you give me something? Like we know Jeff has the connection, so like I think Jeff has the ability to do more. Now,
the thing is, he probably did go to those guys, and they were like, "Hey, we don't want to show anything."
They're like, "Hey, fuck off."
Yeah,
it's just
honestly though,
that's fine, but like I'm still gonna look at it. That's how I look at it. I'm sorry, it's just what it is. It was good. It was fine. I'm just saying it wasn't great. Let's dive into the Xbox showcase. So they opened up with Call of Duty, and they also ended with Call of Duty. So we'll talk more about Call of Duty at the end. But I will say this. I think that opening with Call of Duty, and Ty and I were talking about this earlier with Kenwall, I think opening with Call of Duty was such a monumental thing for them because not even so much for the game itself, but to kind of have the image and the perception that they're back on even ground. Where it was like, when even Phil says it himself, he's like, this is the first time in like a decade that Call of Duty's back on our stage, and he's very clear that like, hey, like everywhere is going to get the same Call of Duty experience at the same time. He said the beta is not going to be timed exclusive anymore like it was for the last 7 or 8 years. Like content, the seasons, like all of these things are things that if you're on Xbox, you had to wait for content to come out. Now that's not the case anymore, and like I joked on Ty's show earlier today that like that was almost worth it alone for them to buy Activision, where it's like you're just back on even ground, because before this, PlayStation was able to take Call of Duty, which is one of the, if not the biggest game franchise period ever, and they used to say, hey, this is the best place to play because we have this exclusive stuff, that we have the beta, we have this. We have a mode that's going to be exclusive to our version for a whole year, usually happened every year. And Xbox was like, you know what, let's even the playing ground. So Everything's coming out same time. Obviously, we know it's coming to Game Pass as well. I thought it was a great opener to the show. Again, just for the message alone. And then we get right into, Doom. So we get Doom the Dark Ages, which, my God, just looked absolutely incredible. Just going to read off the Xbox wire. Revealed worldwide today, Doom the Dark Ages heralds the return of the unstoppable Doomslayer in this upcoming single-player dark fantasy action FPS from the legendary id Software. The prequel to Doom 2016, Doom the Dark Ages puts players behind the visor of the mighty Slayer as they battle demonic hordes in grounded, hard-hitting combat inside an epic, cinematic tale of gods, kings, and monsters. Supplementing his superhuman skills and over-the-top arsenal, the Slayer will also call upon the colossal Atlan mech to brawl with titanic beasts and retake the skies aboard his ferocious steed, a jet-fueled cybernetic war dragon. Don your shotgun, shield saw, I love that name, shield saw, and flail, and charge headfirst into battle in 2025, when Doom the Dark Ages arrives on Xbox Game Pass day 1.
Yeah, this game just looks great. It looks fun. I mean, I got to play the other Doom games, the 2 other ones before this.
Doom is just such a perfect game. Like it's just such a great, amazing, incredible game. Obviously, if the blood and gore is not your thing, like you're not gonna be into it. But like from a gameplay perspective, it's just one of the best games ever made. Honestly, I'm talking about Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. And just watching this trailer, I'm just so excited. The shield saw, like a freaking chainsaw shield that you can Captain America around and throw it around. I'm like that looks so cool. There's parrying. I like that it's a change of aesthetic because it's like instead of it being all red, like you're on Mars or you're just fighting in hell, like there's still gonna be red as we just saw, but like it's a much more toned down color scheme, which I think is gonna really kind of like the vibe. I'm digging the vibes. The vibes are great. The merch or the mech, and then of course the mech. Like he jumps in a mech and he's freaking mech battling giant This was such an excellent showing for Doom, and I'm gonna say that for a lot of games. I thought a lot of games showed very bottom, and like what a 1-2 punch. Where you start with the Call of Duty thing, and just getting that out of the way, and then you go right into Doom, and Doom was just fantastic. Ty in the chat says Phil Spencer talking about everyone getting the same Call of Duty is him calling out regulators and everyone who feels the deal was bad for everyone. This deal is literally about fairness. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's why they bought Activision. They bought Activision because they were just tired of being locked out of stuff. And it shows you that PlayStation should probably stop doing that because Xbox will continue to throw their money around. It's like, hey, you want you want to make Bethesda games year exclusives?
I don't think they need to stop. I think, if anything, they need to step up.
So you want PlayStation to pay third parties for more exclusives?
Yeah, or buy studios.
Oh, okay. So you are pro consolidation in the industry.
Consolidation no, not entirely.
Well, you just said you wanted PlayStation to buy more studios.
Yeah, I'm talking about for them. If they want to compete, that's what they have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not
pay for exclusives.
I'm not egging you on. I just wanted to know. I was curious.
No.
Okay.
I don't think it should be consolidated just to 3 companies. I do like the indies and I like the indie publishers. But
okay. After that, we saw State of Decay 3, which was a game that did not do much for Ty, which I disagreed. I thought it was a really good showing for State of Decay 3. I'm actually gonna throw it on my own screen just to So Ty and I were talking on his show with Ken, and a lot of people thought that this game looks really good. And I agree. I think it looks really good.
This is in-engine footage.
Yeah, it's in-game footage and in-game cinematics. So this is what the game will look like. And I don't think Ty understood. I think a lot of this stuff that it's on my screen right now, I do think that this is gameplay. No, this is a cinematic. Hold on. Wrong time. But I do think that that's this is gameplay right here, just without a HUD. And
I think this looks like gameplay.
It does. This looks like gameplay.
It's gonna come up here. That's a little behind, but
yeah, but that's a cinematic.
No, I mean to show them.
I think that's an in-game cinematic though. That's something that as you're playing the game will happen in game. Maybe not that one, but most of it. And I came away from it the point of showing this game off here and what they did was something that we talked about last week, where the Jez Corden had did some reporting that something State of Decay 3 is really trying to do is trying to up its character narrative and make the people in your camp feel more important to you. And that's what I took away from this trailer. I mean, you have the person's in danger, and like all the other people that like all the friends are trying to come in and try to help them, and obviously somebody unfortunately passes, and the little dinosaur keychain goes from the person's belonging to just ending up on a memorial for like the camp's friends, or like the camp's members that have passed. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was really good, and yeah, Forrest just hit the nail on the head. The point was the keychain. Like, you're not supposed to be looking at the zombies or anything. Like, we know it's a zombie game. We know what State of Decay, the idea of State of Decay is going to be.
Yeah.
Like, that was the point of the trailer.
But also, it is an open world game, and from what I saw, I like the new world. Like, I like the expansion on the world. It looks a lot prettier. I like the gas station and then the forest, and like, I don't know, things just look prettier.
And the other thing that I don't I don't think Ty or Ken, for that matter, really like understood was, like, this game is not coming out next year. This is, like, they did not say 2025. This game is coming out 2026 probably. Ty says, look at these generic ass zombies. There's literally nothing. The only gameplay is literally a static shot of shooting ugly graphic looking zombies. Terrible showing, did nothing. I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
I really disagree. I thought it was a great showing for them. The game is probably like 2 years out. I would say next year you should probably expect like a game more of a gameplay look. I don't know, man. I thought it was a good showing for them. So,
I mean, this is the third game in a franchise. Like, how much different were you expecting it to be?
Ty says, so the showcase was about a keychain? A showcase about a keychain? What a joke. Waste of time, he says. He's wrong. It's okay. It's okay that he's wrong. Like, look at this. And they show the memorial, and it's all about... Look at all these pieces on the memorial. Yeah. And that keychain is just one person. Look at all the stories that they're telling around it.
Yeah.
It's called narrative, Ty. It's called narrative. You gotta think.
But even beyond that, it's a good looking game. I don't know why you're saying ugly graphics and all that stuff. It's a good looking game.
I think it does too. I think the work that they're doing with Unreal 5 and the Coalition, I think it looks really good. So I'm very much excited for it. I'm sure we're gonna see more in the future. I'm very pleased with what they showed, to be honest. The keychain made it to his journey. You keep saying you disagree, but yeah, what do you mean? Did he not listen to what we just said?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I think Ty is just... he's looking for more shareholder money. That's what it is. Let's move on. Next up, they showed, honestly for me, like the one game that I didn't care about at all.
It's probably one that I care about the most.
I know, which is really funny. Yeah. Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, and I just getting this out of the way. Dragon Age is a series that I played Dragon Age Origins for like 2.5 hours, and it did not click with me at all. I was like really not into it. I don't know what was going on that day. Maybe I owe it to myself to try it again someday. But like I didn't get into it.
You played Origins, you know what I mean?
Which was the first one.
Yeah,
But so the franchise has just never done anything for me since, and not only does this game not do anything for me, I also don't think this looks at all what I expected a Dragon Age game to look like. So, like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
To me, this looks like the game I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But that's because I played...
Well, you're more excited for this, so go ahead. Talk about this.
I played Inquisitions, and Inquisitions is a heavily... You build your own... Your character's custom-made. Like, you build a custom character, and then you have relationships with all these other characters. And these other characters usually have, the mage, and the ranger, and the tank, and the soldier.
Right.
And there's interrelationships. Some of them don't like each other because they're on opposite sides. Some of them are racist because there's different races in the game. Mm-hmm. And you get to choose, at least in Inquisition, you choose 3 of those characters to follow you. You can even fall in love with some of them. Certain characters have romance options. So I just like character-based action games with really good storytelling, and this just looks like a whole new story with a new character. I'm really excited for this. Inquisition was my game of the year when it came out. I think it was game of the year when it came out.
I think it did win some, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just excited for another.
I mean, for me, at the end of the day, I'm rooting for this game to do well because I think BioWare really needs the W.
That is true.
They've really struggled. Mass Effect Andromeda didn't do well. Anthem didn't do well. I don't know if they're going to get another shot. I think this could be their last shot. So I want to see them do well. So I hope they do well. I hope BioWare succeeds and maybe someday they make another Mass Effect or whatever they're gonna do next.
Yeah.
And best of luck to BioWare. Again, it's not from a place of hate. I just I just don't care. It's not for me. So best of luck to them.
And I would tell you to play Inquisition, but your list of games that you have to play
is too long.
Impossibly
It's
long.
just too long. You
Get
can't
to
recommend games to me. It's just not possible. Most recommendations are already in the backlog. Dragon Age is not one of them, admittedly, but it is what it is. All right. Next up, on to more important things. We got our first look at
loading screens.
Starfield, Shattered
Starfield,
Space. We also found out that there was a new update that came out yesterday. I'm trying to see if I can find the Xbox Wire part of it. There we go. It comes from the Xbox Wire. Deep in the dark reaches of space, the followers of the Great Serpent live shrouded in the mystery. Begin an epic new story and explore House of Va'ruun territory in Shattered Space, Starfield's first major expansion. Watch the reveal trailer now and experience the story of House of Va'ruun when Shattered Space launches this year. In addition to the first look at Shattered Space, highlights from Starfield's latest major update were shared immediately following the Xbox showcase. Official mod support with the launch of Creations, the first new Quest DLC with the introduction of Trackers Alliance, new bounty hunting features, and improvements to melee weapons are the highlights of Starfield's June update, and the June update is now available. Well, I mean, look, we talked about it. Starfield, top 2 game of the year for me last year. This and Octopath. I loved it. I'm waiting to get back into Starfield. I would have liked a release date to plan it out. I'm sure it's going to probably be like September. I think this looks great. It looks like what I want. One of my gripes with the original with Starfield is that House of Va'ruun is kind of just there and not really heavily involved. So it's going to be really cool. I think this planet looks really cool. This planet that was showing on the trailer just now. But yeah, I think it's really cool that we're going to get to see more of House of Va'ruun, and I'm really excited to get back into Starfield. After Starfield, we moved on to Fallout 76. Fallout 76, they had a neat little... I love the Fallout trailers and the live action stuff that they do with Fallout. They were talking about their new map expansion, which I'm trying to pull up. Forget what it's called. Man, Xbox Wire they kind of did
They randomized it?
Well, it's it starts in alphabetical order and then it stops being in alphabetical order halfway down. So it's I'm not sure how and it's not in order of the showcase either. There it is. Okay. So Fallout 76 is released, I think it's Wednesday. Skyline Valley's major expansion of the world map. You'll cross the Savage Divide and travel to the southern reaches of Appalachia. The picturesque new region, Skyline Valley, introduces fresh locations to explore among the woodlands once known as Shenandoah National Park. You also seek out Vault 63, and that's June 12th. So that's Wednesday. We're going to get this nice big expansion, first ever map expansion to Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is just a game that I want to play. I want to get you and Forrest together and I want to play this game. Really, I love Fallout. And obviously when the game launched, did not really pay it much mind, but it seems like it's in a really great place right now. It was funny yesterday with Forrest was saying oh, if you guys buy the game, I'll go buy it. I was like, we have the game on Game Pass. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, if you go get it, I don't think you understand how Game Pass works. It's the best deal in gaming. We have the game. We just need to install it. Maybe that's what he meant.
I don't know.
You don't know?
He'll get it.
After Fallout 76, we saw Expedition 33, set in France. Very cinematic looking turn-based game.
A very pretty game as
well.
well.
My God. I loved this game. This game looks just so excellent, man. I'm so into this. Coming day one to Game Pass. This is going to be a definite play for me. I mean, I'm just being completely honest. Most of these games are definite plays for me outside of Dragon Age and maybe one other game. Forrest says, if you get it, I'll get it. We have it. So get it. We're waiting on you. We're literally waiting on you. But yeah, Expedition 33, just gorgeous game. Such a good looking game, and I can't wait to play it. I forget. Was this? Did they put a date on this? No, it's 2025, I think, right? Let me look. What did you think of Expedition 33?
Yeah, it's just a pretty looking game. I wasn't expecting it to be turn based, but it's turn based. But it looks like really good turn based mechanics. Looks very linear. Like based off the trailer, it looks extremely linear. But the world itself looks really pretty. So we'll see.
By the time they get it, they're going to be on 32.
And it's on Game Pass. So
It's on Game Pass. You can just get Game Pass. It's very, very simple. You can get PC Game Pass. He doesn't even need to buy Game Pass Ultimate. He could just get PC Game Pass.
PC Game Pass is like
it's
what,
like $11.
$10?
It's like $10 or $11 a month.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a second, hold on. But you know, I mean, I think this game just looks phenomenal. I can't wait to play it. I think it is 2025. Yeah. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Next up, we saw South of Midnight, which I didn't think we were going to see South of Midnight at this showcase.
Yeah,
this was a surprise for me. I thought we weren't going to see it this year. Maybe next year we would get some gameplay.
Yeah.
But they gave us gameplay. South of Midnight.
Did this have a release year at least, or at least
2025?
Okay.
So we're getting it next year. Man, like this game really impressed me as well.
This game only impressed me visually. Gameplay wise, it seemed a bit generic. Like I said, it looked to me watching the gameplay, it reminded me so much of Darksiders 3, which is my least favorite Darksiders game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I don't know, I got to see more of it, but visually the art style it's like 10
yeah,
out of 10.
I love the framing technique that they do with the characters, like almost stop motion.
Yeah, I agree.
Where it's like the world around it is clearly running at a like full frames or whatever.
Even the fish, he's swimming around in full frames, but when he talks,
yeah, it's like
a slower frame rate.
Yeah, I'm really digging this game aesthetically. I went back and watched the trailer last night, like after you left, and like the music is really good. I don't know if the music is like dynamic, but like it seemed kind of dynamic as she was moving. Like the music kind of changed, and I wonder
cool.
I wonder how, I don't know. Maybe it's just curated because this is like a slice of life gameplay demo.
I would also imagine this game is going to be really good with music in general, just like
Yeah,
the universe they're setting up in, and like the swampy biome, and
yeah, and
that
it's
New Orleans like jazzy type music.
Yeah, and you know it's a third-person action-adventure game, which is something that I really love. Third-person action-adventure games, It's something that I really get into, which is probably why the gameplay doesn't bother me as much, maybe because that's generally a
I do
genre
too.
that I really get into.
No, I like that too. It's just very generic. Like nothing about it stands out. Like you got your grapple, you got your glide. Like I've seen all this before in different versions. It just looks like another one.
I understand. Yeah, I agree. I think that
Like, this is something the narrative is something
the
that
highlight of the game is the aesthetic and the narrative and all that.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't think there was anything inherently wrong with the gameplay. It looks good, and we'll probably see more of it. So I'm down with it. I think it's cool. Next up, we saw World of Warcraft expansion trailer. At first, I was wondering if this was World of Warcraft coming to console. It wasn't that, though. So, you know, if you're playing World of Warcraft, you got to see the new expansion. I don't really have any thoughts on it, to be honest. After that, we saw Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of Snake Eater. And I thought this was a really great showing for them. This was something that I think really made a lot of sense to have in the showcase. It's something that maybe someone watching the showcase who's not like a super big Xbox fan or something like that, they're kind of like looking at it where it's like they're really excited for Metal Gear Solid Delta. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great way to show off the game. I'm still a little concerned with like it being Konami, like their real like first foray back into games, and obviously Kojima's not involved in the project.
It is a remake though, so
yeah, so there's probably not a lot of leg room that need, you know. Yeah.
But the game itself looks.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play this. We actually may have gotten a leaked release date, which we'll talk about later when we get into the headlines. But yeah, this game looked great. Again, I think most games had a great showing here, and that kind of leads into what makes it such a great showcase in its own right. But yeah. After that, we saw the new season of Sea of Thieves, which that's another game. It's really funny because, like, admittedly, I've always been really critical of live service games, but like I'm sitting here wanting to play quite a few of them, I guess, because I really want to play Sea of Thieves and I really want to play Fallout 76. So this season probably wasn't the best showing for a season I've seen personally, like to make me want to play. But I mean, they're going 13 seasons strong, so good for them. After that, we saw Flintlock, which got a July release date. This game looks really good as well. Kind of similar in terms of, I think, gameplay to South of Midnight almost. But, yeah, coming to Game Pass day one. This game looks really awesome. Mm-hmm. I think you joked about, like, Boy and Fox and Girl and Fox and stuff yesterday.
Yeah, this is the Girl and Fox game.
Girl and Fox game. I love this, though. This is such a good, like, aesthetically, I'm really into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's just a good... It's a good trailer as well. Like, the trailer itself, the music, and, like, the visuals is really cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
It reminds me a little bit, not with the movement, but, like, everything else. It reminds me of that one PlayStation game that didn't do well.
Days Gone?
No. The magical one.
Concrete Genie?
No.
Oh, Forspoken.
Forspoken, yeah.
Yeah, Forspoken.
Gives me Forspoken vibes.
Yeah, but maybe it doesn't have cringe writing like Forspoken did. Forspoken had some pretty cringy writing. Next up, we got Age of Mythology, RTS. World's Edge presents its first ever gameplay trailer. Thought it looked really good. I mean, I've been kind of enjoying some RTSs lately with Age of Empires and others. I want to play Stronghold Definitive Edition. So yeah, thought it was a good showing for that game as well. Next up, we got another game, Perfect Dark, which there was a lot of rumblings going into Perfect Dark, and like whether it was like in good shape and bad shape.
Yeah.
And then you said something during the showcase that I think was a great compliment, because I don't think Xbox would honestly have the balls to deceive anybody.
Yeah.
You were skeptical whether this gameplay was real.
Yeah, it looked like the concept footage that they show for a game. Like, it didn't look like it was real, like frame by frame footage.
No, Forrest, I didn't play it. I just saw a lot of clips of it. And it was something that, like, I was interested in it. It was on my radar, but I didn't buy it because something else came out that month. I think Octopath Traveler 2 came out that month. Probably. Yeah, so I was like, I'm going with Octopath.
But, like, seeing the gameplay up right now, it doesn't look like someone's walking through the city, like, playing it with a controller. It almost looks... It looks so good that I don't know.
No, I hear you.
You've seen it happen with games before where they show a trailer that isn't... It's a concept trailer.
Yeah.
And that's what this looks like.
I just don't think Xbox has the guts to do that. Like, it would be such a PR disaster for them if this was not what the game actually was.
But, like...
And, like, Xbox is so... Like, Xbox has been dealing with such PR nightmares.
This would be such a bad...
It would be such a bad move for them to come into this showcase and show something that wasn't real. So I can't... Could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be wrong. But, like, I can't sit here and say it would make an ounce of sense for them to make up fake gameplay for Perfect Dark.
No, I agree.
I just can't... I can't see it. I can't fathom it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Especially because Xbox has such a great showcase. You could take Perfect Dark out of this showcase, and it's still an incredible showcase. They didn't need to show Perfect Dark here. So it's like, you didn't need to show it. So like, there's no sense in them making this gameplay up. I think this game looked incredible. This is another one that I'm just really excited to play. It just looks really good. I'm very excited about it. And I gotta believe it's real gameplay, because I can't see why it wouldn't be. Couldn't justify it. They would never hear the end of it if this was fake gameplay.
Yeah,
and they know that. They have to know that.
Yeah. Hopefully it is.
Yeah. So this was really good. After that, we saw the cinematic for the new season of Diablo 4 with the Vessel of Hatred, also
one of my favorite.
Also known as Me When I'm in New Jersey. Vessel of Hatred.
One of my favorite trailers for the night.
It was a really, really good cinematic. The team at Blizzard just makes such amazing cinematics. It's just like, man, it was so good. And like, again, that's another game that, like, I guess it's a live it's a live service game. Yeah. That's another one I just want to play. So it's like,
you just want to play good games.
I just want to play good games. That's exactly it. You figured it out. That's what I've been trying to say the whole time, and you've never understood until right now.
No, you hate live service. You even now you still call them live service games.
Well, they are live service games.
They're good games.
Live service
You're like,
games.
oh, I can't believe I want to play this good game. It's a live service game. I can't believe I want to play it. Why the hell do I want to play good games? That's what you're sounding like.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Nah, but I want to play it. So
Yeah.
after that, we saw Fable, which one of my favorite games at the showcase. To be honest, I think Fable just is coming along really well. Looks phenomenal.
One thing I'm worried about. So I watched the trailer like a few more times. After
Yeah,
the
me too.
showcase.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm worried about is the camera perspective of the game. It's like a third person, like, you know, that kind of like offset, and it reminds me a lot of Senua's, like the Senua games. And I hope it doesn't play like that. I hope it's like a.
I don't think it will.
Open world
No,
action
I think it's
adventure.
going to be an open world action
Okay,
adventure.
because
I can't see it. I mean, it's Fable.
But Fable, I think I just hope the Fable that they're not. reaching
Fable's
towards-
always played as an action RPG.
Yeah, but I hope they're not. It's also a great storytelling game. Like, you know, even the title is called Fable.
Right.
So I hope they're not leaning too far. Like, of course, I want the good storytelling and all that stuff. I just hope it's also freer. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
I hope it's an RPG game.
I think it will be. I think this was a great showing, and this is another one we got 2025. So, like, 2025 shaping up to be a really strong year for Xbox. I mean, Fable, South of Midnight. Like, I didn't count. I need to watch this showcase and, like, count the 2025s because, like,
Next year's going to be pretty packed.
it's looking like a really strong year for them. But yeah, I just loved seeing Albion and just like walking through it. It just everything looks really great. I'm very happy with what they're showing with Fable here. And it was one of my most anticipated games going into the show, and coming out of it still highly anticipated for me.
I have trust issues. I keep seeing really good games, and I'm like, that's not real. It's not going to be
You
like
just
that.
need to trust.
I've trusted before, and I've been broken.
That's fair. That's very fair. I'm not gonna knock anybody for being somewhat skeptical, but I mean, what I'm looking at looks like real gameplay, and
Yeah.
like again, could we be lied to? Absolutely.
But it's also one of those things where, so far, everything I've seen of it, I'm going to play the game regardless of how it is.
Day one of Game Pass. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's just good storytelling, like, that's not, I'll take that.
Yeah. Next up, we saw Fragpunk, which originally I didn't really care for. The more that I look at it, the card feature. This is
so cool.
this is an arena a hero arena shooter, whatever, with a card mechanic where you use the card and it changes the rules of the game. Like maybe it like makes grass grow where you can't see, or it makes heads super big, like big head mode from like GoldenEye, where like
is the one they show like first in the trailer. Just stuff like that. It's like activating a cheat code in the middle of a game and completely changing everything.
Yeah, like at first I was like, oh, I don't like arena shooters, and I still am sitting here saying I don't like arena shooters, but like this just seems like such
twist.
a really cool concept that like I'm sure this will be a free to play game. This strikes me as a free to play game. Maybe not. I don't know. If it's free to play, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'm very intrigued by it. I upon like second, third watching of it, I was just like, yeah, this actually looks like something I want to at least try. I like this one, like the Death's Embrace.
Yeah.
And it's just like the Grim Reaper shows up. Like, what does he do? He's like, hey, we're gonna go kill some guys.
This will probably be a live service game, but this works so well because you can add new cards with different effects.
Yeah.
As well as characters and maps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was very impressed actually, like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Coming 2025. So yeah, there you go, 2025. After that, we saw Winter Burrow, which for me, outside of Dragon Age, was probably the second weakest showing of the showcase.
Yeah.
But there was still things about it that intrigued me because I am really into these narrative Game Pass experiences, and I was definitely into like Big City Mouse coming home, finding your childhood home, and trying to like get it back up. I'm not super into like the crafting aspect and like the stuff like that, but if the narrative's good, like again, this is a Game Pass game, so like I'm down to try it.
This is one I won't be playing at all.
Yeah, like I could see me skipping it. I don't know yet if I will. We'll have to see what's going on when it comes out, whenever that is. If it's on Game Pass, there's always a chance for me. So I don't want to rule it out. Again, like the first half of the trailer, really into it. Like what we're watching right now is like he went back to his home or like whatever, and all that.
They start adding mechanics.
And all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I went to the bridge and the bridge is down. So now I'm crafting to build, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really much of one of those craft to build kind of. It's not really my thing. So, but I don't know. My biggest problem with those games is I always feel like there's just not enough structure to keep me into it. And so, like, maybe this game will have more structure, and maybe it'll be something I want to get into. I don't know. You also get to knit a hat, it looks like. So that's...
knitting.
It's knitting. Next up, a game that I really want to... I'm very into this. Mixtape.
Yeah, the Mixtape was in my top 3 of, the night.
I don't even know how you made a top 3. There's a lot of great games on this showcase.
Okay, top 5. It's in my top 5 of the night.
Man, I should have made a top 5.
Yeah, I didn't think of it.
But so Mixtape just looks incredible. I do want to read the little Xbox wire piece for Mixtape, but like this is one of those games that I would call a romance game, where it's like it's a narrative, beautiful narrative, really like interesting art style, telling like a slice of life story with
through music, which is kind of cool.
With music, that was something I remember. We were watching the trailer. You were like, when the music started to seem like,
because it's like actual music, and they're telling their story through the songs.
Yeah,
they're remembering parts of their life, like growing up through high school.
So this is Mixtape, nothing but the hits, coming in 2025 to Game Pass day one. From Beethoven and Dinosaur, award-winning developers of The Artful Escape, which I've played, it's an easy game, but it's a very enjoyable experience, comes Mixtape. On their last night of high school, 3 friends embark on one more adventure together. En route to their final party together, a perfectly curated playlist draws them into a dreamlike reenactments of their formative memories together. Immerse yourself in the teenage wasteland, playing through a variety of narrative vignettes, exploring the pivotal moments that shaped them. The story is delivered through a mixtape of comedic, joyful gameplay, from skateboarding and flying to taking photos after hours at an abandoned theme park, and much more. It's the greatest hits of teenage friendship, from the first kiss to the last dance. Similar to games like What Remains of Edith Finch, which is an excellent game, Mixtape ties its narrative to a unique vignette-driven structure that emphasizes variety, surprise, and comedy in its gameplay. Featuring music from Devo, Roxy Music, Lush, The Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, Susie and the Banshees, Joy Division, and more, Mixtape effectively blends gameplay, narrative, and music. Join the crew on their last night together as they experience a mixtape of memories set to the soundtrack of a generation.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a romance game.
Forrest said that was his game of the night. That's his number 1. He can't wait to play it.
Yeah, he loved it. Forrest in the chat says, better than anything I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. So I think that's cool. We'll all play, all 3 of us.
Yeah, all 3 of us will sit around and we'll have our own mixtape.
Yeah.
We're getting the band back together. Such a deep cut. Yeah. Looks incredible. And again, like, this is the kind of game where, like, I talk about Game Pass, and, like, I love that Game Pass has all the big first-party games that are coming. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that. But something that, like, I really love about Game Pass is these smaller experiences that, like, you know, maybe I can't afford to dish out, like, $30 or $20 right then and there for this one narrative game that I really am going to love. But, like, with Game Pass, it's like, hey, here it is. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Like, enjoy it. And it's just...
I played a lot of smaller games because of Game Pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Games I wouldn't have paid money for. Like,
great little narrative experiences. Like, it's great, man.
Up next, we're flying planes.
Yeah, next up was Microsoft Flight Simulator. Which, you know, it's showing all the jobs that you got. I think this is coming 2025 as well. It looks interesting. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but, you know, it's there for people that want to play it. Next up is Life is Strange, which, number one, I love Life is Strange, so I was very excited for this announcement in general. But then they go on to reveal that the main character of this game is Max, the main character of the first game, which, for me, Life is Strange, like, the first game is the best one, in my opinion. Following Max and Chloe's story is like the highlight of Life is Strange for me. So for them to kind of go back and be like, hey, we're going to check in on Max like 10 years later, I'm down for that. And her power this time seems to be about like hopping universes. So
First she had time, now she has space.
Yeah.
So
She's getting all the stones.
yeah.
And Forrest once again saying,
This is his second favorite game.
wow, really? That's crazy.
He really likes these artsy games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with him. I love him too. Yeah, so I'm very excited for Life is Strange. I think this also was another one that was a 2025. Did they say this was coming to Game Pass? I want to see real quick. It doesn't say Game Pass, but this is still one that I will definitely be picking up. And it comes October 29th, so it's coming this year. Cool.
Okay.
That's great. I'm going to be playing it. Absolutely. Next up, we got an extended look at Indiana Jones. Forrest says, bruh, this game looks so good. I know. Crazy.
Is that the next one?
Next up is Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was shown off next.
It might have skipped one. No, never mind. I see it. Go ahead.
Life is Strange, Indiana Jones. Yeah, Indiana Jones was shown off, and this is, again, really strong showing for this game. Very excited for it. I mean, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more like an actual like gameplay sequence. But I mean, they're showing off Indy and his personality and him fighting Nazis and the location.
This year, right?
Yeah, this is this year. I believe they said they were aiming for November or December. They don't have a date for it, which was weird that this and Avowed didn't get dates, but more on the Avowed date later possibly. Forrest said that the Indiana Jones was actually his number 3 game. Okay. These are great games. These are all great games that Forrest is excited about. But yeah, I love Indiana Jones. I know we watched the movies last year. This is great. I'm really excited for this. Machine games are great. The puzzles.
The storytelling itself just looks like great. It looks like you're playing a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it. Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. Man, this showcase just keeps going. Next up was Mecha Break. Really cool looking game where you get to kind of build your own mech and fight it against other people. Looked really good. Strong showing for that game as well. Then we saw Wu Chang.
That was a cool trailer.
Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Yeah, this is a really cool trailer coming day one to Game Pass. It's a Souls-like action RPG, so if you like your Souls-likes, you're getting one here. Yeah, looks really strong, really good. After that, we got a look at Avowed, which we did get another extended look today. I have not seen it yet, though, because we had to do the podcast. But Avowed's looking great. We're going to talk a little bit more about Avowed in a little bit. After that, we saw Atomfall, which is a very Bioshock game. What was the name you... I came up with a name for him yesterday. You're like, oh, there should be a name for Bioshock games. And what I said...
Shock-like.
Shock-like, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a Shock-like game. Looks really good. Apparently, it's based off a true story, which I got to look into. Because that's crazy if that's... What we saw in that trailer was based off a true story. I'm actually going to see if I can find it on the Xbox Wire page real quick. Maybe they'll kind of go into detail. Set in the rolling British countryside with idyllic pubs, quaint villages, and red phone boxes, it soon becomes clear that things are far from normal. Created by Rebellion, the makers of the much-loved Sniper Elite, I was right yesterday, and Zombie Army franchises, Atomfall is inspired by a real-world nuclear disaster that occurred in northern England in 1957. The game follows a fictional storyline where you find yourself in the quarantine zone 5 years after the event. That's actually that sounds really cool. Explore the countryside, villages, and settlements, and meet odd people, wicked cults, rogue government agencies, and others along the way. Explore this open-world adventure and seek out the truth at your own pace. A single-player survival action game, Atomfall blends post-war Britain with Cold War paranoia, folk horror, and elements of classic British sci-fi to create an immersive and thrilling gameplay experience. 2025, it's launching on Game Pass day one. Excuse me. It's just another one, like an excellent showing. I think like I was really into this, and looks great. Then we got a little peek at Assassin's Creed Shadows, which we'll talk about when we get to the Ubisoft showcase, but got a little bit of gameplay at that yesterday. Then we saw Stalker 2, Hearts of Chernobyl, coming...
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say that it looked good.
Yeah, coming this year to Game Pass. It's a game that got delayed for a few years because of the whole issue going on over there. But this game also just looks incredible.
Is this another 2025 game? Or
No, this is this year. Yeah, it comes out September. Hold on. It's definitely coming out this year. They definitely gave it a date. I think it's September, but it might be December.
Okay.
It doesn't say it on the Xbox Wire, but I know that they've given a date for this already. And it's this year. After that, they talked about new Xbox editions. They're coming out with the white discless Series X with a $50 price cut. It's basically a Series X. They just took out the disc drive and didn't charge you for the disc drive. A white, I think 2 terabyte Series S, and then the Galaxy edition of the Series X, which is a 2 terabyte special edition Series X with a cool little space design on it, and a really neat controller because it's black, but then it has the Xbox green kind of coming out from the bottom. Really cool looking Series X. I'm not in the market for one right now, but it does have 2 terabytes of storage. So if I were to get an Xbox right now, that would be the one I would go with. But it does run, I think, $100 more expensive, which for an extra terabyte, I think is justifiable. I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that. To me, it is. But yeah, and then before we got to the Call of Duty Direct, we got that one more thing. And that one more thing was the announcement of Gears of War E-Day. Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises of all time. One of my favorite games of all time, obviously. So it's a prequel. It takes place about 13 or 14 years before Gears of War, the first game, on E-Day. This was such an important game to me. I've watched the trailer like 10 times since yesterday. Just seeing Marcus, Dom coming back, like that's huge. There's a lot of lore that they could work with here. Like we're gonna see Marcus and Dom's friendship grow. And there's stuff going on like that you could like with like Dom's brother Carlos. Like there's a lot of lore that you can dive into here. They talk about it, but I also thought it was really smart to, because this is E-Day and this is something we're not used to. You see Marcus in a way that you've never seen him before, like struggling. Like I loved how they painted the Locust in this trailer, where it's like they're not just like, this is the Locust drone. This is like the base Locust enemy. And instead of it being kind of like I'm just popping heads and killing it, like this thing is like really giving Marcus the fight of his life here. And I just thought it was an incredible trailer. A trailer that, so it was interesting because Jeff Keighley said, "Oh, really cool CG trailer," and people who actually worked on the trailer actually kind of came out, were very defensive about it. They were like, "No, like this is game, like this is in game." They said, but it's beyond in engine. Like all the assets that you're seeing are in game assets being used, and they were very, very specific about it. Again, it's an origin story for a lot of things, so I'm really looking forward to it. Marcus doesn't have the chainsaw yet because the chainsaw bayonet isn't a thing yet. I'm sure it will be during the course of the game. But yeah, I'm really excited for Gears. This is my game of the show, just by default. I love Gears of War so much. The Mad World sprinkling in, it's just such an artful, masterfully done trailer. Because it's like, it's just perfect. Because you have the struggle with Marcus, and he's fighting the drone off. He ends up kind of getting away with it and escaping with his life, and he wins. And then Mad World's kind of creeping in, and Dom saves him, hands him his headband, his bandana, and then they kind of cut to like Sarah, and it's just like, if I was making a Gears of War game, if they were like, "Hey, we want to make a Gears of War game, what do you want to do?" Like, this is what I like, literally this, from aesthetic to like time frame, like everything. Like, this is a Gears of War game that I would want. So like, I'm extremely excited for it. Didn't even get a release year, so I'm assuming 2026 for it. But that's fine, because the Xbox showed off a lot of games. Keep you busy until Gears 6 comes out. And then we got the Call of Duty Direct, which I think Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I mean, ironically enough, I'm more excited for this Call of Duty than I have been for a long time. I think it was one of the better showings we've seen from Call of Duty, and this is coming from someone who plays them every year. Mm-hmm. The campaign looks great. We're getting into a really interesting point in history where like it's like 91. One of the levels they were talking about, I was reading something today, one of the levels in the campaign is a Bill Clinton political rally, and you're like, that's where the level takes place, and I'm like, that feels weird to say. It's like a leveling Call of Duty is you're at a Bill Clinton political rally. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's kind of weird.
We're getting old. That's what it means.
That's what it means. Kids are like, who?
They're like, this is fiction. It's like, no, we lived through this.
No, we lived through this. But no, I think the campaign looks excellent. I love the Call of Duty campaigns. You've been playing through them. You've enjoyed them to date.
We're actually going to play the Black Ops game.
Yeah, we're like, this Sunday, like, you're starting Black Ops 1. I want to have you ready to go by October 25th, which is when Black Ops 6 is launching. The multiplayer looks great. As someone who is a fan of classic progression, they're going back to the original Prestige.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
That was a huge deal, especially for someone like me who, like, I love playing Call of Duty, but I love to have a focus on, like, what I'm trying to accomplish. And, like, the newer Prestige system that they've had is honestly terrible. So I'm so happy they're going away from it. This is much more rewarding to players. The Omni direction, the Omni movement was, like, really crazy. I was talking to someone at work today, and, like, it's something you'd never think about, like sprinting backwards, sprinting sideways. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'll like it yet, but it sounds interesting, and I can't wait to see how it plays out.
There was two. There's the Omni direction thing, and then there's, I think it's the auto movement or something like that.
Yeah.
And the auto movement is like it lets you parkour around without pressing buttons. You can go over walls and under, like, into holes and vents without crouching or jumping. And then you had the Omni movement, which is like more cinematic, it seems like.
Yeah.
And then, running and more fluid and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And they also said, like, other things that I took note of is that with map design and multiplayer, they're going back to the traditional 3-lane design, which that's something else that I've always really loved about Call of Duty, and I hate it when they shied away from that. There's just a lot of things going on with Call of Duty that, like, with this game that I really can't help but get behind and feel optimistic about. The round-based zombies is back, and that's another thing I'm very excited for. Like, outside of Warzone, like, I'm very impressed with what they're what they're showing right now and what they're talking about right now. I don't know if Warzone will follow suit. We'll see. Not getting my hopes up there because I've been disappointed by Warzone since the beginning, but we'll see. And that was the Xbox showcase. Honestly, the more I sit on it and the more I marinate on it is like, for me, it's a 10 out of 10 showcase. I think that not only is it the best showcase Xbox has ever done, in my opinion, I think pound for pound, game for game, I think it's one of the best video game showcases, like, ever, period. I think that there's such a variety and, like, a mass amount of games that, like, I think almost everything here, for me personally, almost everything here, except for 2 games, is a hit. And, like, one of those is Dragon Age, which I know a lot of people are excited for, so I know at that point that's a me thing. And then, like, the Winter Burrow is, like, the only other game that I was, like, iffy on. Like, I probably won't play it, but, like, there's a possibility it's on Game Pass. And, like, I came away from this showcase just thinking, like, I'm just going to list it off. Like, it's right here on the graphic. It's Black Ops 6, Indiana Jones, Gears of War, Doom, Avowed, Diablo. I'm going to skip even some of them. Assassin's Creed showed up, Stalker 2, Fable, Mixtape, Perfect Dark, Expedition 33, South of Midnight, Starfield, State of Decay, Wuhang, Elder Scrolls Online, Metal Gear, Fallout 76, Life is Strange, Sea of Thieves, Adam. It just kept going and going and going. And that's not even all of them. I just kind of skimmed it. And it's just like, I think almost everything had a great showing. Things that are obviously like 2 years out, we're not going to get the most in-depth gameplay, but you don't need to get the most in-depth gameplay when you're 3 years out. So for me, for me, it's a perfect showcase. It's something that all companies, obviously, again, whatever Summer Games Fest, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and fight over a comparison of the two, but, like, I think this is something that, like, PlayStation, and we're seeing it, I saw it with a lot of PlayStation fans. They're like, they're upset. They're like, Xbox, like, PlayStation, take note. This is how you do a showcase. Like, Push Square, which is like the equivalent of like Nintendo Life and Xbox Wire. They did an article where it's like, hey, PlayStation fans are like very vocal right now. Like, Xbox really killed this, and I think they really needed this win too, from a PR perspective alone. You know what I mean? What did you think of the showcase overall?
I liked it. Overall. A lot of great games. Yeah, I don't know if it was the best. I think it's the best.
Mm-hmm.
But almost every game there I was interested in. There was, like you said, there was a few, maybe for me, a little bit more, maybe 5 or 6 games I don't really care about.
Mm.
But everything else was like.
So, being honest, if I had to count, so let me see. So, there was 30 games shown. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. There's like 26 out of 30 games that like I'm really interested in.
Okay.
And then like 3 of those other 4 are games that I'm intrigued. And then like admittedly like Dragon Age is just like
there were less games for me. There was less games that I was interested in, but
so if you have a top 5, you want to give me a top 5 while I have it in front of me?
Top 5.
Well, I'll try to come up with a top 5 while you're making your top 5.
Fable.
Uh-huh.
Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Perfect Dark.
Okay.
Mixtape.
Okay.
And I don't want to say Diablo because that's an expansion.
And you've played Diablo.
Yeah, I've played Diablo. Yeah. I'm not going to say Assassin's Creed as well.
Okay.
I'm going to say Dragon Age. Yeah,
okay.
Those are my top 5.
So my top 5, Gears of War, Fable, Perfect Dark. Now this is where like it starts to separate a little bit, so I have to like really think. Doom.
I forgot about Doom.
I don't know if I want to go Call of Duty or Indiana Jones here, or Mixtape, or South of Midnight. I don't think I can do a top 5.
It's good.
Yeah, it's just an excellent showcase. And again, it's also just, I mean, it's great for Game Pass as well. Like, you subscribe to Game Pass, and, like, not all of these games. I think, like, 18 of these 30 games are coming to Game Pass day one. And it's just, it's a really strong showing. And I really thought it was something special, to be honest. I mean, I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, they needed the win, and they went out and they got it. It was a very good showcase for them. Let's, real quickly, some Avowed stuff. Forrest's top 5 games. Hold on, let me pull it back up. Forrest's top 5 games were Mixtape. And then it looks like he said, what was the other one? Life is Strange. And then Doom, 33, and Mecha Break. It's a good 5. Yeah. It's a really good 5, Forrest. Yeah, so real quick, some notes on Avowed before we get into Ubisoft. Avowed, so again, they didn't give a release date for Avowed, but Obsidian on their website, when they put information out, they put November 12th as Avowed's release date, and then it was quickly removed.
Okay.
And I know that, so to critique the showcase before we move on, the only thing, 2 things that I really can like say would take like gripe with, one being a big one for me was, I don't know when exactly they're going to bring Activision Blizzard backlog games
that was a big deal for you.
To Game Pass.
Yeah.
I don't know when you're doing it then, because like now, like Call of Duty is coming out in October, so like you don't want to drop those games during Call of Duty's lifespan because you want to see if Call of Duty can bring in the Game Pass subs. Mm-hmm. So like I don't see them doing it then. So like, are you going to drop it like a month before Call of Duty comes out? Like, and then you have the whole Blizzard catalog and Forrest like Avowed. Avowed looks great. Yeah, Forrest says he loves it here. So we'll see. But the other thing would be like the 2024 games did not get specific release dates, which I thought was weird. I think that Xbox was trying to keep it close to the chest though, because quite frankly, with the delays they've had in the past, I think they're kind of afraid of it backfiring.
Absolutely.
So like, I get it. I mean, I would like to see them kind of give some release dates a couple months out, but you know, as long as you get it out by like August, I guess it's fine. So, you know. And then the other thing that came out with Avowed today is you can also play it in third person.
Okay.
And that's during the deep dive that they put out today on their Xbox podcast.
Yeah, I have that up. I'll probably watch that later.
Yeah, I'll watch it later as well. But for the interest of time, let's move on to Ubisoft Forward, and let's talk about that a little bit. So we're going to kind of speed through, except for the 2 big ones, obviously. So we saw Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. Game looks phenomenal.
I feel like that game's going to bring in so much money for Ubisoft. Like, it's such a slam dunk for them.
Yeah, I agree.
We were talking about it before. How has there not been a live action or
open world Star Wars game? Yeah, it's crazy to think about that. There's not been one.
Yeah.
But we see one, and it looks.
Do you count that as one of the big 2? Because to me, that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we got some Prince of Persia stuff. In my opinion, a terrible idea to show this. So they did a Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. They give a release year of 2026. And they show a 30-second video of a candle and like time going back and forth.
Yeah.
I would not have even bothered showing anything here. That game had to be, like, the development was restarted. It's, like, dealing with a lot of issues. I think it was just a bad idea to show it. But, it's what they did. Then we got the IGN's out of order as well. We'll close with Assassin's Creed. They showed off Anno 117 Pax Romana.
I don't even know what that game is.
Yeah, it's like an... I know Anno. I've heard of the series. It's like an RTS. Then they showed DLC for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Skybreaker DLC coming next month. X-Defiant Season 1 starts next month. We got a Skull and Bones update with, like, a dragon. The Crew Motorfest Year 2 roadmap was revealed. So they pretty much just updated a lot of stuff for their live service offerings. Honestly, not a lot really spoke to me outside of Star Wars and what we're about to talk about, which is Assassin's Creed. But Star Wars and Assassin's Creed fucking hit.
Yeah.
Star Wars I'm very excited for, but, like, let's talk about Assassin's Creed a little bit. We saw the gameplay for the first time. I felt like it was excellent. I think as someone who really loves OG Assassin's Creed and wants to see the series kind of return to those roots, I feel like Shadows potentially could be pleasing as many fans as possible with this game, because it definitely is the open world RPG that they want to do, but, like, especially watching the Shinobi gameplay, like, very stealth based, a lot of awesome stealth stuff.
Yeah.
Very true to, like, to the culture and the history, where, like, things that I would expect ninjas to do. We're watching the trailer, and I'm like, oh, ninjas usually jump up on the walls, and
that was
they do
cool.
they do the straw thing when they're in water, the bamboo straw thing to breathe. And she does it both those things before that even happens. She does it, and it's just like, it looks really cool. The gameplay looks like what I want from Assassin's Creed. The samurai stuff looks good too. It's not what I'm there for, but I'll enjoy it. It looks like it's pretty damn good gameplay as well. I came out of Assassin's Creed Shadows, the gameplay, really excited for this game, like, extremely excited.
Yeah, I can't even say anything else. Yeah, everything about it looks good. The combat stuff with the samurai was cool. I like that it's 1v1. It seems like they're going to focus on 1v1, at least for bosses. And the beheading scene at the end I thought that was pretty cool, like a nice touch this year. But like you said, the stealth gameplay that you see later on, that was my favorite. Her shooting lights and, like, hiding in the shadows, I thought that was really cool.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and look, even what you're showing right now, it's like, this game just looks so cool. Between this and Star Wars, like, kudos to Ubisoft, because as of right now, and things can change, but as of right now, like, the top 5 games that I'm looking forward to this year, like, 2 of them are Ubisoft games.
Yeah.
With Assassin's Creed and Star Wars. I mean, they look incredible, and I can't wait to play them. August 30th for Star Wars and November 15th for Assassin's Creed, so. In terms of the Ubisoft Forward, I mean, again, for me, I think outside of Assassin's Creed and Star Wars, I mean, I think that the showing was very skippable.
To me, it was the Assassin's Creed and Star Wars showcase.
Like, yeah. So for me, it's like a 7 out of 10. I'm very excited for the 2 games that we saw, but, like, at that point, just if I were Ubisoft, what I would have done is I would have had Assassin's Creed show up at Summer Games Fest. Or, I'm sorry, I would have, like, Star Wars gameplay at Summer Game Fest, and then have this game show up at the Xbox Showcase, which they kind of did.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the full... I would have had the full thing. And then, like, Ubisoft Forward... This is outside of those 2 games, this was a waste of time.
I don't know, I kind of like having a full thing on a Monday, like...
I guess, I don't know. Like, outside those 2 things, like, nothing else... I didn't care about anything else that they showed outside those 2 games.
I agree.
So,
but that's what
I think that
you didn't come there for the crew.
Exactly.
Or, like,
and that's why I give it a 7 out of 10, because I love that too. I forgot about that, where she stabs through the door.
Mm-hmm. He jumps up to the ceiling. I thought that was
so good. Yeah. So good. So yeah, for me it's a 7 out of 10, because you're right. We went into it knowing that we were looking for these 2 games, and these 2 games definitely delivered.
Yeah.
But it's a showcase as a whole, which is why it's a 7 out of 10 for me. Let's move on and try to knock out some headlines quickly, because we are getting a little late on time. Phil Spencer address. So Phil Spencer did a...
Yeah, which we never saw. Well,
I watched it this morning.
Okay.
I think, number one, Ryan McCaffrey definitely kind of softballed some of the questions. Like, he asked the right questions, but then didn't really follow up on some things.
I think he did. Remember, it was edited.
Well, that's fair.
It wasn't shot live.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so they probably cut out things that we can't say.
So I was disappointed in that, but like again, like I'm not super pressing on it because especially because like coming out of the Xbox showcase, like, and this is for me also the signs of a great showcase. I feel rejuvenized to like for video games because it's like we sit here, we do the show each week, and like sometimes it gets really depressing because we're talking about studio closures and layoffs and like Xbox's strategy and is it going to work and like could it lead to the end of that ecosystem, which sucks for me as an Xbox gamer, but also like it's not good to have a monopoly with PlayStation being like the only premium console in that market. Like there's a lot of things that could go wrong, so there's a lot of things to be bummed out about. But like coming out of that Xbox showcase, I just feel rejuvenated. Like I just want to sit down, I want to play games, I want to play good games, and that's great. But so Phil did this IGN interview, and two things worth mentioning. So number one, he was asked about Xbox handheld,
which I was expecting to see. There was a
rumor that we talked about. We reported on it here. So he was asked about it, and Phil said the future for us is in hardware is pretty awesome. He told McCaffrey, the work that the team is doing around different form factors, different ways to play, I'm incredibly excited about. Today was about the games, but we will have a time to come out and talk more about the platform, and we can't wait to bring it to you. Spencer then was asked if it was a new handheld would be a cloud-only system, or if it would have local installation and native gameplay. To that, Spencer said that playing games locally on a handheld is really important. So you can read between the lines there and assume that it's going to be a native handheld. So that was really big. And then the other thing, which was interesting, that this probably also includes the Xbox One generation, which leads to what we were talking about, that people aren't upgrading for either side, Xbox or PlayStation. Phil does say that right now there's more Xbox console users than they've ever had in history, like including the 360 era, like everything. Which I thought that was a really impressive stat. I would like to know how much of the percentages that they're still on the Xbox One, but
probably a lot. But I think it's just one of
it just shows that the business for them is doing good.
Not even that. I think gaming in general is doing good. Every console is breaking records that
it's very true.
They've never I think gaming is just good right now. Games are good. Since last year, games have been phenomenal.
Well, it's because we're ramping up for the series finale.
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, they're going out with a bang.
The problem is if Gears of War comes out after that, like I have to postpone it. There's going to be like another episode.
That's the epilogue,
It's the epilogue, right? Gears of War E-Day is the epilogue.
Yeah, that's the E's for.
So let's shoot through these last 5 headlines that we have. Outside of the showcases, slow week, which was to be expected. Modern Warfare 2 and 3 content will not carry forward to Black Ops 6. Thank God. Everyone's going to be starting from scratch. That means loadouts, skins, weapons, and gear will not carry forward to Black Ops 6. This was something I did not like about Modern Warfare 3. It made the game feel less valuable, in my opinion, because it just felt like an add-on to Modern Warfare 2.
Which it was.
Which it was. But I do like... It may not be the most... It may not be the most consumer-friendly stance, which I know usually I am very consumer-friendly in a lot of my stances. But I really do think that with Call of Duty, if you're going to have one each year, every year, clean slate. Like, okay, the next one comes out.
Warzone. Let things carry over for Warzone. Let Warzone be a whole new season with added content. Yeah. People can do it that way.
Yeah. Whatever. But at the same time, I would also like to see people just experiment with new guns. Like, when I play Modern Warfare 3 or Warzone right now, I'm just using the guns I had from Modern Warfare 2. I didn't even really experiment with MW3 guns. I already had my guns unlocked, including for Warzone. So, I like when people have to kind of experiment and figure out what works. So, gotcha. I'm happy that's the case. GameStop potentially leaked the Metal Gear Delta. They tweeted out today. Mind you, GameStop Twitter really having a rough week. Because yesterday, they said that today was the day for the Ubisoft Forward.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
And so they had to take it down and tweet again, tomorrow's the day. And then, GameStop, now mind you, there has not been announced yet, but GameStop tweeted, prepare to slay in Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, where stealth and survival meet savagery, coming November 17th. Watch the trailer and pre-order now. The tweet has since been taken down. It's not up anymore. At least I don't think it is. But so, yeah, November 17th. That's rough because that's 2 days after Assassin's Creed. That is a rough date for it, in my opinion. We're going to talk a little bit about Concord. So the additions were revealed. Concord, obviously, is the the shooter, the arena shooter, hero shooter, whatever, from PlayStation. So we know that the game is going to be priced at $40, which
That's not bad.
I think that these games being priced out like that is really weird because on that market, the market really kind of dictates free to play.
Yeah, you're right
Like
about
between
that,
Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, and
is Valorant that way? Is Valorant free to play?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but like I would assume.
I would agree though. Those games thrive better as free to play games.
They also have a deluxe edition for $60, which comes with more character skins, 72-hour early access, the Monarch pack. I think that's a 20 extra bucks for that is not worth it in my opinion.
This is a weird cross with games because it does have a narrative, and I don't know how that's gonna work. Like it has a storyline that they keep trying to sell.
Yeah.
As a, here a multiplayer hero shooter. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, perhaps. And then other thing about Concord is much like the other games right now Sony is putting out on PC, it will require a PSN account for Steam and Epic. So therefore, those 177 countries that want to play Concord will not be able to.
Unless Sony fixes it in that time, but yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Another rumor, Contraband, the Xbox exclusive from Avalanche Studios, has been internally delayed. According to host Mag of the XNC podcast, great podcast from Cold Eastwood, he said, I've been told that it's been delayed and that it's going to be delayed well into 2025. Could be the end of 2025 for all we know. The people who've played it said the game was fun. It was great. It was a very early build, but it's a ways off. So,
what style of game is that? I remember
the trailer.
Teaser.
I don't. They didn't even really say exactly.
But if people have
what
played
it
it and it's fun, what kind of game is it?
I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's kind of like a heist game, if I remember correctly.
Payday, yes?
Kind of. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Next up in the news, again, a few games with troubled development apparently.
This one hurts.
Yeah, according to Kind of Funny host Greg Miller, which I love Kind of Funny content, but Greg is never this guy that tells what his sources tell him.
Oh, okay.
Never do we ever talk about these. It's always Jeff Grubb or
yeah.
But so yeah, rare Greg Miller one. In fact, he even says it. I'll read the quote. Here you go. You want it? You want the exclusive? I'll give you my Jeff Grubb information. In the past year, because I'll leave it ambiguous, I have talked to an insider who was like, the game's troubled. That's all I'll say. I don't think I said what game. We're talking about Wonder Woman, by the way. Monolith's Wonder Woman game is reportedly undergoing troubled development. Greg Miller says, the game's troubled. That's all he'll say. So I don't hold out hope that there's a place to show something. Because this was when they were talking about Summer Games Fest last week and
Gotcha.
whether we would see it. And so,
I have faith in Monolith, though. I love the Lord of the Ring games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have faith in this game. I think they're gonna build off of the Nemesis system, but in the Wonder Woman world. So
yeah,
I'm excited still.
And number 10, our last headline for the day: IKEA is opening a new store.
Nice. You love IKEA.
Yeah, IKEA is cool. It's in Roblox. IKEA is opening a store in Roblox. 10 successful applicants will be paid about $14 an hour per hour to work in different sections of the store, like the showroom and bistro. They're going to pay someone in Roblox to make Swedish meatballs in the game.
That's insane.
Helping people choose their furniture and serving meatballs. Promotions will be available, but it isn't clear if the workers' wage will increase with it. The wage matches the London living wage set in the UK, opposed to the lower countrywide national living wage. So yeah, if you ever wanted to go to IKEA on Roblox,
now's your chance.
In June this month, it's opening this month. So, crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Really cool idea actually, because it makes sense. Well, not the bistro part. I don't know what they're doing in the bistro. It's like one meatball, please. They give you like an in-game meatball. It's like what am I supposed to do with this? But so yeah, apply now. They're hiring 10 people. And that's it for the headlines for the week. Let's dive in real quick to the releases. A slow release week, admittedly. Launching tomorrow, Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked comes out on PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. V Rising comes out on PS5 tomorrow. On June 13th, Taskmaster VR comes out on Quest 3, Quest 2, and PC. Monster Hunter Stories and Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin come out on PS4 on June 14th. The first Monster Hunter Stories comes out on Switch and PC on the 14th as well. And then finally, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Dev, what's your pick of the week?
I'm gonna say the Monster Hunter Stories games. They look kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, these were the ones that, like, someone said they're like Pokemon, right?
Yeah,
like capturing
Pokemon-esque.
Yeah. So, my pick for the week is going to be Shin Megami Tensei. Obviously, just great series coming out from, Atlas, and great stuff. But yeah, so that is, that's going to pretty much do it for us here. Again, like, it was a very big weekend with the showcases. I think the Xbox showcase is just really something special. I really stand by it. I just think it was great. There's so many games that are coming, and I'm excited for almost all of them. So I'm very happy with it. Hopefully we get a Nintendo Direct announced for this week. We know that we get one in June. So, hopefully Nintendo can kind of add to the hype and keep us going through the year.
Yeah.
What are you playing right now?
I am still playing Ghostwire Tokyo. I finished Hellblade. I'm going to that, and I told you before, There's so many collectibles, there's so many side quests, and I've been trying to ignore all that stuff now because I just want to beat the game. But it's still like scratching at me. It's irritating.
Right.
Because I don't want to run past collectibles that I see. But
welcome to my world.
But it's a good.
It's like it's right there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, now I gotta get all the collectibles.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm playing Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door still right now. I think I'm reaching like a halfway point. Loving it. Great game. One of my favorite games of all time. So looking to wrap that up soon, and then maybe Octopath Traveler.
Okay.
Which, like, I owe you an apology because, you said it was crazy for me to do the whole Octopath Traveler 2 thing and, like, to play it. And, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
Here we go.
What do you mean? I just wanted to thank you for that because you were right. It was very responsible for the backlog to play Octopath Traveler 2 now that it's on Game Pass.
So what are you going to play instead?
Well, Octopath Traveler 1 went up on Game Pass, so I might play that first.
There it is.
And then I'll play Octopath Traveler 2 on Game Pass. To be fair, I don't think there's a lot of like big releases that I'm like really dying for a few months, so I have time. So unless Nintendo like gives me what I want and drops like the Pokemon games or something.
Don't hold your breath for that one. Oh, there it is. He's dead.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. Check out last week's episode if you want to get our thoughts on the news headlines from last week. We will be back next week, hopefully talking about hopefully a Nintendo Direct. So make sure you join the Discord where we're talking about video games amongst other cool stuff there. You can find that in the description down below. You can follow me on Twitter. Links also down below. But until next time, We'll see you guys later. Just want to play Gears. Just want to play Fable. I just want to play Perfect Dark. I just want to play Avowed. I just want to play Indiana Jones. I just want to play all the games. All the games that they showed. There's so many games. And I just